Party people, what's going on? It's Samaj Marsh. I'm the founder of BlueDeathValley.com, and I want to welcome you guys back to another special edition of Inside the Valley, the podcast that's devoted to relentless coverage of A&T football. Of course, I got my two co-hosts here to help me out. First up, former A&T wide receiver and a native of Greensboro, North Carolina, my man, Dougie Fresh Brown. What's going on, Doug?
Hey, Aggie Pride, guys. Y'all know what week it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is a little bit different from the other weeks, man. And of course, the man in the middle, always speaking facts, not talking riddle. Long-time A&T insider, beat writer on BlueDeathValley.com for over 2 decades. The current president of the Greensboro chapter of the AAF, and my right-hand man, Mr. President Craig Turner. What's going on, CT?
Hey, Aggie Pride. Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes,
back
sir.
for another week.
Oh man, not just another week. Not just another week. The week.
Central.
Right. So
you don't get no better than that.
Hey, this
down
is
in
the
Durham,
big one.
down in the hole. Yeah, heading to the hole this weekend.
The hole, you got that right. Going down Fayetteville Street. Dougie, Craig, man, can't be understated just how important this week is, not just for us as alumni, right? But also for the program, the football program. We came off a bad loss on Saturday against Delaware, trying to regroup and figure some things out. And we don't have a really opportunity to lick our wounds because now we got the game, right? The game on the schedule. One of those things where when Coach Brown got here, I'm sure some people pulled him to the side and like, this is the one you got to win. We'll let you take your lumps and figure things out with the other 10. But this one's the one on the schedule you got to win every year. So we're going to jump into that. We're going to talk a little bit about Delaware last week, figure out exactly how things got kind of off track real quick in that game. And then we're going to, of course, talk about the big one on Saturday. We're going to have a special guest coming here a little bit later to give us some insight that he has a unique perspective for. And then we're going to open up the show towards the end of the show to our fans because we're at the tailgate. Me and Doug, everybody was coming up to us and saying, hey, we want to get back on the show. We haven't been on the show in a couple of weeks. So we definitely want to open the lines of communication up to our loyal supporters. Because there's a lot of people who have some strong opinions right now about the state of A&T football. I thought we were kind of building some momentum after the Winston-Salem State overtime victory. And it seemed like we might have taken a step backwards last week. Obviously, we played a higher caliber opponent, but that's an understatement. That's an understatement. But that line of scrimmage was not in our favor on either side of the ball last Saturday. So, Craig, I guess give me your initial opinion of what transpired Saturday and what does that mean moving forward?
Well, we essentially played an FBS team last week. I knew going in we were probably overmatched in that game, and it was going to take a lot of things to break our way. Delaware is one of the 5 best teams in the FCS this year. Matter of fact, this is their last year in the FCS. They're not going to be in the playoffs or anything. They're headed to Conference USA. They're the flagship school in the state of Delaware. They're already at 85 plus scholarships. They've been preparing for that move for the last 3.5, 4 years. And so going into that game, I had watched the game, their opener against Stony Brook, and I knew we were going to be up against it. They are the complete package, offensively, defensively. They're big, they're strong. They don't make a lot of critical errors. They're an experienced ball club. They had 13 6-year players on a 5th or 6-year players starting for them.
Yeah.
They brought in like a dozen transfers, FBS transfers on top of that. So they were loaded going in.
Yeah. I understand that, but I still thought we could have fought a little bit better. It was only a 8-point game in halftime, and I didn't like some of the, I guess, adjustments that we try to make to slow them down. Because like I said, we knew they were bigger and stronger at the point of attack. But this seemed to me, and you tell me if I'm wrong, Craig, it seemed to me like our game plan was more of a passive, read and react instead of put them on their heels and attack. Am I crazy for saying that?
Well, I think if you're talking about our offense, without you got 3 of your heavy hitters who didn't play Saturday due to injuries, and that really hurt. Monte Jones was out. Kenji Christian, you can't talk enough about how important he is to the running game. Without him, you don't have that explosive back in that backfield. It limits your options. We were in the ball game up until we had them backed up inside their 10-yard line, 3rd and 21, 22 yards, and we gave up that play. At that point, game over.
Yeah,
game over. That was the key. That to me was the biggest play of that ball game, because if you stop them there and they're punting out of their end zone, you're going to get that ball inside their 50-yard line.
Yeah.
With a chance to possibly tie that game up early in that 3rd quarter. And we didn't make the plays. I mean, they made the plays and we didn't. And I know Aggie fans, been going back and Aggie fans have been talking about, well, the coaches didn't do this and players didn't do that. It's one of those type of situations when you don't make a play, when you give up a big play like that. That was the one thing we had to stay away from, was giving up the explosive play, and that we did not do.
You said that. You said that in the preview before the game, that you said we gotta avoid those big plays in passing game, and they ran the ball, set us up, and then threw over the top when we weren't looking. So you're right. You predicted it.
Yeah, well, that's who they are. They're an explosive football team. And once they start hitting those big plays, their rhythm offense. Once they got into that rhythm, there was we were up against it. I don't think it was the case that the kids didn't play hard. I think they did, but I'm not one to try to psychoanalyze coaches and try to analyze every play or every player and what this guy did or what that guy did. Bottom line was, and I'll say it, we were overmatched. We were overmatched. Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Hey, so Doug, you jump in. Tell me, give me your quick your recap of what you thought happened. You agree with Craig? You're just a battle of not having enough in the tank?
Yeah, I mean, you heard Craig say it. He talked about the guys we had out. We were definitely missing some difference makers, both on offense and defense. But starting on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, Craig, we're missing our leader up front, Cesar Monaro. I mean, that's the guy that was big. That was big. Touches the ball every play, right? He starts the play off. He's the one guy that touches the ball every play, along with the quarterback. So, and not having Cesar up front, and a guy like DeAndre Dingle Prince up front, who showed he could be a difference maker in the Wake Forest game. Didn't play against Winston. Didn't play this past week. So he's a guy we hope to have back. We brought him in here along with Mr. Coleman, number 2, the defender, linebacker / kind of safety hybrid. He's a difference maker. So those guys didn't play. I look for us to look a little bit different on defense this week. This is one of those years and one of those teams you're going to have to judge us on a week-by-week basis, right? It's easy to look at the box score, look at the final score and say, hey, this is what happened. He got beat. But I don't think that was an indication of really how close the game was at times.
Yeah, like I said, it was
and we had our opportunities. It was one score ball game and a half for the most part. And that's with the turnover, right? We faced some adversity, turn the ball over when we were driving at the fumble, but we're able to stop them on defense, get the ball back. will score, get a defensive score, right? That's a big play. So we're doing some good things. They got to put together for an entire half, but I think when you get all the puzzle pieces back together, you'll start to see kind of a full picture of what Coach Brown had hoped this team will look like. And it's a perfect week to get back on track. So
yeah, ain't no better week than this because you talk about you can right a lot of wrongs, you can get forgiven for a lot of sins. If we can go somehow right this ship, circle the wagon, whatever metaphor you want, and we can go down to Durham and come back with W. I don't care about hook or by crook. How we come, I don't care if it's overtime. I don't care if we blow them out, whatever. If we can just come out of there with a W, man, I'm talking about the entire trajectory of our season changes immediately. Now we're back 2-2, 500 ball. We go down to Orangeburg for another winnable game. We get a chance to get above 500. Then we got to win it our back. But it starts, like I say, one game at a time. And this is, fortunately for us, this is the biggest game right now of the season. And we can put all our focus into it. You don't have to worry about, remember last year, Doug, we was doing some tryouts for walkovers during this week. We don't think we have any distractions of our focus. I think everything is, we got blinders on. We're looking at Central. We got to beat Central. But we're gonna talk all about that. We're gonna talk more in depth about the game last Saturday and everything in between. But first, let me go ahead and bring our first guest, our special guest in tonight. This gentleman right here, he just like Doug, he played the game. He knows about this rivalry. Has a really unique perspective, and this guy also has a couple of titles to his name. Let me bring in Mr. Jalen Fowler.
Yo,
Jay, what's going on? How you doing, man?
What's happening, y'all? I'm good.
What's going on, man?
Can you hear us good?
Yeah, can y'all hear me good?
Perfect.
I hear y'all perfectly fine.
Yeah, we got.
Welcome back.
So
I appreciate it.
Jay, like I said, you have a couple of titles to your name. Number one, probably your biggest title is you are the quarterback who had the greatest homecoming win in school history. Something that will always live in Aggie memory. When you come down here for G-Ho, hopefully this year, when you walk around, there's gonna be a lot of guys like Doug. Doug can say, rightfully so, he can stick out his chest and says, of all the football players, I had the most receiving yards in a single game, 202 against South Carolina State. No, I don't care. We got a lot of great wide receivers who come through here, but nobody can top Doug when it comes to most receiving yards in one single game. And you're gonna have probably Lamar down here, Khalil. Khalil had the greatest single performance in the A&T quarterback history. You could probably have Allen Hooker walking around here, all his stats, but you can stand amongst them and say, guess what, guys? This is my day. I'm the G-Ho. I'm the king of G-Ho. So talk about that, man. Sure. Talk about having that bragging right under your belt.
Hey, man. Every time I think back to that game, it was like it was magic in the air. It's like once we got it going, we just kept it rolling. And the crazy thing is, I don't remember what the exact score was, but nobody on the sideline was worried about the score. When some people in the crowd might have thought it was over or we about to get steamrolled, and man, hey, playmakers started making plays and we just dug our way out of there, man. It was a great day.
I think it was 28-7. If Craig, you might correct me on that. I think it was 28-7. I believe Campbell scored on their first. They scored touchdowns on their first 4 possessions. So you guys were behind the 8 ball immediately, and like you say, the fortitude that you guys had, just to not waver, not to panic, to rally around each other. It was amazing, and it paid off in the end. But you also have another title, Jalen. You also are the last living quarterback who's actually beaten Central. So we want to talk about that, right?
Hope that's changed Saturday.
Yeah, we gotta change that. So as an Aggie, as a quarterback, what is it like going into Central Week? Just give us an idea.
Well, I'll just say this: my first year was 2017, and that energy that the game had, that was something I hadn't seen in my entire life, like in person. Maybe on TV, but that was my first time like being a part of it.
Yeah,
and man, I'm talking about Coach. I can vividly remember Coach Cord and Coach Gibbs at midfield talking. I'm talking crazy, and all the players. I'm pretty sure some guys threw punches. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's like when I think of the rivalry, that's the exact moment I think of every single time. And I can't lie though, my years at A&T, we really didn't have that many battles with them. It was always we handed it to them my first like 4 years, like pretty bad. So
hey, JD, you see the shirt? Y'all produced this shirt right here.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and see, listen,
Yeah.
listen. That's why it's so hard for me to deal with this foolishness this week because like really they just got this amnesia, like they've been on top forever, and I have to bring the shirt out. I like look here.
Got to remind them.
Yeah, you guys was like, had to take an act of Congress to cross midfield for 2 straight years. It was ugly over there. So, but back to 2017. That was y'all had a midfield pregame confrontation, right?
Yes. I'm talking about it seemed like that. Both teams, all players were just right there, and I'm talking greasy. I'm a red shirt freshman. I ain't about to be. I can't really do nothing. I ain't about to be on the field. I'm talking, but these dudes was talking crazy, man. And,
Man,
that was something right there.
So let me use that as a segue. First of all, Doug, you chime in with your story of the intensity of the rivalry because you also, like Jalen, was on the field for 4 years against these guys. What was it like, man?
Man, 4 years. I mean, a lot of my battles came after I was done playing, coaching as a fan. I think 2018, I was 2 weeks out of back surgery, and I think that was the year they beat us here at home. And those guys, man, they just would not leave the field in an orderly fashion. So, I saw one of the coaches that mentioned to him, hey, coach, win with some class, have a little class. And coach squared up with me. And next thing I know, we both squared up like we about to touch a little bit. And,
man,
one thing led to another. And next thing I know, man, Aggies were taking care of business. And I had to go get checked out by Dr. McKinley in the training room, man. He was looking at me like, what you doing? I just saw you. You have no business. Why are you even at the game? I don't even think I'm supposed to be at the game. But that's just the pride and the fight that we have in us. I'll say this to Coach Brown and any Aggie that's going to go out there and compete this weekend. Like Jalen said, it's going to be hostile. It's going to be out of control at times. But you got to find a way to harness that energy, right? And to harness all of that hate and use that hate to fuel you, right? You shouldn't use it to, make you play out of yourself or play out of your normal level of comfort and play within your scheme. But, man, you got to harness that hate, let it fuel you, right? Because you're going to need that energy because they're going to play with some of that, and it's going to make them play superhuman at times, right? So this is the week for the Undertaker, right? To draw that, reach deep down within and pull that hate and that all of that he has inside of his heart and pour it into the team, right? They need to see the Undertaker, that Grim Reaper you have over your right shoulder. That's the image I see for Coach Brown this week. The true Reaper, the true Undertaker. I want to see his eyes rolling in the back of his head during the pregame speech and just, him sweating and spitting like that. That's what we're going to get out of Coach Brown this week. I know he's playing it cool in the media, but Coach Brown hadn't forgot. He's a very smart man. He has the memory of an elephant. He's not going to forget.
I hope so.
How last year felt, right? And he's been hearing it all year long. So I'm confident that he's telling those guys the right thing. Matter of fact, I'm sure he's telling the right thing. We just got to go out there and take care of business. But yeah, that rivalry's heated, man. I was a part of the 28-0. We were up first quarter my freshman year, and they came back, and that momentum got to swinging down at Carter Finley Stadium, and they came back and got us.
Y'all lost in overtime, didn't you?
Yeah, I was there the year the Carlos Davalos 50-yard field goal to win it.
The Capital City Miracle.
The Capital City Miracle, man. And Coach Hayes was on the sidelines at that point. He was the AD, and I remember us winning that kick and me running across field and all those things you said those guys were saying, Jalen. I was saying those same things after the game-winning kick. And I'm fussing, I'm going crazy. I look up and there's Coach Hayes, man. I've never felt so embarrassed in my life. That's just a couple years ago, that was my guy. So, but that's the rivalry, man. And that's just what it is. So there's a lot of bad blood on both sides. Also played the game where some of our former teammates, one in particular, Brad Hitton,
threw the ball in the band.
Threw the ball to the band, yeah. So that's a classic.
Wow.
Hey, Jalen, it was grand opening, grand closing. He scored a touchdown on the first drive, threw the ball to the band, got kicked out immediately.
Yeah, man. I think he had a personal foul. That was a second personal foul. Well, he got a later personal foul. They kicked him out, man. But
wow,
great games, man. Great games.
So Jay, let me ask you this: I'm pretty sure you still keep in contact with a few guys, around the program in the locker room. Do you feel that this year's roster, this year's coaching staff, these players are adequately aware of what they're about to go into when they go down the dirt? Do you feel that they're ready? Or do they know what's about to happen? That's a little pause there.
I mean, if I got,
be honest,
I don't talk to that many guys on the team anymore. I mean, I still, I comment on all their Instagram posts and showing support and love, but I don't really know. Like, it's hard for me to tell from the outside and gauge it, how the locker room is and how the culture is. Yeah. But I hope, and I do have hope, that there are guys in the locker room who have played in these Aggie Eagle Classics and have beaten Central, that they will be telling the team the right thing. And I mean, I hate to be that guy, but it's just another football game. Go out there, do your job, and prepare well. And I think they'll be straight. I think they could beat Central this year for sure.
So you take that, okay, so you take the philosophy that basically you don't want to put too much, pressure on yourself about this one game. Just play football and things like you say, things take care of themselves. Exactly.
I like, man, just keep it calm as possible. I know that before the game it's gonna be more than usual. My bad, I'm in the parking lot of this car and stuff. All right. But I know it's gonna be a little bit more intensity than a normal game, obviously. So we're playing the HBCU, we're playing our rival, our main rival. So, but man, you gotta keep it level as possible. That's my philosophy. I keep it level as possible, man. Never get too high, never get too low. But you do know what's at stake, man. Bragging rights at stake, so you better be locked in. And I expect them to be locked in.
Well, I'll tell you guys this, man. Yeah. The reality is no one on that team has really experienced the type of atmosphere as a visitor that they're going to experience. Yeah, we've had some big games in Aggie Stadium. We've had some big games where we were on the road, but we haven't played in a place that with everyone in the stadium is going to hate you, right? And they're right up on top of you on the visitor side. God. There's no track. Yeah, so we've been in some hostile and some good games and some really nice stadiums. We haven't been in a place that'll have this much juice in it on the road of like negative energy, right? You had Winston game, you had the Central game. We've had some big games, Elon a few years ago. This will be a little bit different, not just for our young guys, but for our old guys too. So hopefully, you have enough guys on the team that fuel off of that. Like I love going on the road and at every level of football. That I got off on that, man. So hopefully some guys will play up to it. I know there's some guys that came to A&T to play in games like this, right? We hear a lot of folks say, man, we miss playing in this atmosphere. Well, the bottom line is, you're never going to play in a better place than Aggie Stadium, all right? Just like I said about the Winston folk last week, like that was their Super Bowl. That was the most folks they'll play in front of and the biggest game they'll play in front of for the next 4 years. Central would love to have that moniker as the crazy, nice place to play. It gets hostile at times, but everybody knows it's a mess to get into. It's a mess moving around. It's the shoebox or cracker box, whatever you want to call it. It's not the most favorable place to watch a football game. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down there and take over and do what we do and show that Aggie pride. And, it is what it is. But, Jalen, I think you're absolutely right, man. You got to go in cool, calm, and collected because there's going to be points in the game where things get out of control. And, I think the most disciplined team, the team that makes the least amount of mistakes, the least amount of penalties, will give themselves the best chance to win. And I think that's one area that we've been strong in and an area that they've continued to look like an MEAC team in for years.
And Jalen, just as a from the quarterback's perspective, have you had a chance to watch the guys this year in any in some of the games?
I got to tap into the first game against Wake.
Yeah.
And but the past 2 weeks I was busy. Yeah. I was busy week 2, then week 3. Last week it was it's on Flow Sports, and I ain't gonna lie. Right. Yeah. I ain't got Flow Sports. So but I was watching. Say less.
Hey, Jada, Doug ain't got it either, because Doug got my account. Team, baby. It's one of them things. Teamwork makes the dream work, man.
Teamwork, baby.
But yeah, so I mean I checked the box score last week, but like Craig was saying, I understand Delaware is moving up, so I kind of figured they'd be kind of loaded. You know what I'm saying? So, but I
Yep.
haven't gotten to watch like Kevin play like personally. I got to see some clips.
Yeah.
So
Well, one of the things that I've been observing of is that especially on defense, we have not. And Coach Brown kind of acknowledged this at the press conference on Monday. We have not done a great job of putting pressure on the quarterback. We've been giving these guys clean pockets, giving them a lot of time to get their feet set. As a quarterback, I posted that clip on Twitter where it was 3rd and like 22, and we ended up rushing 2 people. Like as a quarterback, that's what you want, right? You when this 3rd and long, you want no pressure. That's helping you out, right?
that's it. That's exactly what I want because it's just like you're not in a rush. So I feel like if you give me a bunch of time on 3rd and long, you're just giving me a chance to convert this 3rd down. Like you're giving me the biggest opening that I could possibly have. If I have all day, it's gonna turn into 7-on-7 at some point. And just like on that clip you posted, I mean, somebody could just pop open. It shouldn't. At the same time, though, I mean, if we dropping 9 people, man, I don't know what the scheme is on defense, but that just can't happen. What they threw like a skinny post right in the middle of the field. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Man. It was kind of hard to watch, but hopefully the guys get it corrected.
Right. But so as a quarterback, let's play it from the other side. If we just talk about our defense as a quarterback, we're you're Central's quarterback. What is something you don't want to happen? Like how can we make you under duress and uncomfortable? What's the worst thing we could do if you're Central's quarterback?
Well, first, yeah, I mean, number one thing is to get pressure on them, get a D line back there. That's the easiest thing. I mean, I checked his stats, and I mean, every game he's been negative rushing yards, like -10 or more or less, I should say. So I wouldn't think he's a dual threat. So I know he's probably the type of guy. Once you put no disrespect, but put pressure on this guy, that's probably going to be the number one thing that's going to throw him off. Yeah, just don't let a quarterback sit back there on 3rd and extra long because some fluky stuff could happen. I like just getting pressure on the quarterback.
Gotcha. And
that's not what he wants.
I got a question for Jalen.
Yeah.
So Jalen, you're a guy that saw, this. I'll say this: the coaches at Central, you're very familiar with what they do on defense. You've seen Coach Cord up front and up close and personal for years on defense. What can we expect from Central's defense come Saturday, and being it there in the Coach Cord system?
Well, I'll say this. If Coach Cord doesn't think that you're going to be a threat throwing the ball, he will pack the box. Even if it doesn't, it might look pre-snap 6 in the box. Coach Cord's going to sneak his little outside linebackers, his strong safeties. They're going to be creeping. And if they don't respect your passing game, he's going to have 8 in there. As soon as you hand that ball, there's going to be 8 people there. So you're going to have to find a way to throw around those extra defenders or just make them respect the passing game, I would say. Be creative because if not, Coach Cord, he's always – I practiced against his defenses, played against basically his defense. Because, I mean, it's all Coach Wash, Coach Cord. They all got that same philosophy. So, yeah, if you can't throw that ball, they're going to start packing the run game, I think.
Is there a blind spot in Coach's Cord? Is there like a, is there, I mean, he's been successful everywhere he's been, but you said you've been playing against them in practice. Is there anything that you think that we could exploit maybe?
I'd have to, I'm so cerebral. I'd have to watch their defense this year. Right. I can't just sit there and say, oh yeah, you can get Coach Cord with this because Coach Cord covers all bases. He's a great defensive coach. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, every defense has tendencies. They got to identify them and find ways to take advantage of them. But like I said, his extra defenders, his rovers, strong safety, whatever you want to call it, the sandbacker, the outside backers, they get aggressive. So those are the guys that I would like to take advantage of and find out whatever their favorite coverages are and play off of those type of guys. Throw around them, draw them in with the RPO. You know what I'm saying? Throw behind them, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Wow. And I think Jalen's absolutely right, man. Again, if you think about some of the times that Central took advantage of what we like to do on defense, or some of the times when we got beat, which happened very sparingly. I always say crossing routes, rub routes, and wheel routes, right? We saw that down even in Coach Wash's first couple of years, man. They like to sneak that back out the backfield, run them down the rail. Those rub routes, Phantom, you gave us trouble with the rub routes and kind of more of a pick route.
Doug, remember Richmond in the playoff that year? Richmond in the playoff, that's all they did was hit that wheel route to run it back.
crossing routes, especially if you have a little time and some misdirection, always kind of has everybody kind of out of the position and kind of second guessing where they're supposed to be and their responsibilities. But I think we're still going to see that. Leone, he's still back there calling plays on offense. So he's good for those rub routes, those crossing routes, those pick plays, especially those little back check downs. And that's with either quarterback. Jalen, you're right. Walker, Texas Ranger, as they call him, he's not much of a runner, and he got pulled for precautionary reasons at the end of the half. In the first half, I think they were, trying to save him a little bit because he was getting smacked all Carolina game, or at least that first half. And they do have the backup kid who's more of a runner or a dual threat kid.
Hey, Doug, you know as well as I do, them boys do not care about concussions over at Central. They gonna play you.
Oh, he's gonna play. He's gonna play.
Hey, listen. If he's awake, he's playing. So
yeah, well, the Martin kid, they got in the game prior to Walker going out, so they obviously plan to get him a few snaps and show us some things on film. I always thought he would play around game 4 or 5, either due to poor play from Walker Harris or just because he brings a little different element to the game and to give us something else to prepare for. So I'm glad that we got a half worth of game film on him to kind of evaluate him and break him down a little bit. So I think we know what they do at quarterback and know their skill set. So we're going to try to put pressure on both of them. I don't think either quarterback is going to just dominate you with his arm. So I just think being familiar with both of them and playing in our scheme and forcing them to make some good throws, right? And it's some tight windows. I think the pass defense may look a little different versus this opponent versus how it looked versus Delaware.
Yeah,
they had some guys, but again, we had our moments. We did score on defense off a tip ball and a pick six. So there's some things to be excited about. And again, it starts with the Joes and the guys you got out there. So hopefully we get some more guys back healthy. It's a war of attrition. I always say it's not who you play, it's when you play them. They're a little banged up too, right? So we'll see.
That's a good point.
It should be an even ball game, and we'll go out there and see what happens. But I'm happy that we got 3 games of film, and we're not playing them the first game of the season. With Coach Brown just kind of getting into his stint, second game of the season this past year. I think we played in the first game of the season last year. So we'll see.
Yeah. And so, Craig, we might have to do some NIL something to get Jalen as a full-time correspondent because he's giving us some good games. So Craig, you got anything you want to pick Jalen's brain about since he's here?
No, well, just want to know, Jalen, what are you up to these days? What are you doing these days?
Right now, well, I'm looking for a job right now, to be honest, but I do a lot of freelance graphic design work on the side. So that's really what I've been doing. I get pretty steady business. Well, I can't really say steady, but I always have some projects I'm working on.
Right.
Yeah, trying to get an official job right now.
Good. Hey, so Jalen, you also, you're probably the Blue Death Valley gaming expert. What are your thoughts on that new college football? Have you gotten that? Have you played that one?
Yeah. I like the college football game. It's kind of crazy, but I came up on it, so it's like I'm just so glad it is back. That's all. I know they can make improvements. I expect the next one to be really good, but
Okay. And also, I think me and you are probably the only 2 people who believe that Drake won the battle against Kendrick Lamar. Do you agree?
You be saying them tweets. I don't know, man.
Do you agree? Come on now. Don't lose me now. Am I the only person who think Drake won? You think Kendrick won?
I ain't playing the Kendrick tracks, man. That's all I can say. I ain't.
It's not good. Listen,
if I can't play the music again, man, I'm just like, whatever.
It has no replay value besides the radio. They force feeding this down thy throat, and so they this whole listen. If you take each track, Craig, you're an expert on hip hop. If you take each track one by one, Drake had better substance. That's all I'm saying. But,
I'll say from a strategic standpoint, I think Kendrick played his cards right, and that's why he got the win. I'll give him the win.
I ain't give him nothing. I can't listen to nerd rap.
I can't play him again.
All right. So are you gonna be able to get down to Durham this weekend, Jalen?
I ain't planning on it. It's gonna be ESPN, right?
Yeah, it'll be on ESPN.
ESPN. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it no matter what. But yeah, I ain't gonna be in Durham. But yeah, I'm gonna tune in. I'm gonna watch the whole game, and I gotta see. I expect us to win, man. I ain't gonna lie. I want us to go down to Durham and handle business.
Got to. And you'll definitely be in Jiho, right? Can we count on you for being in Greens for homecoming? Come on
I'm
now,
trying. I'm trying.
All right, we might have to call it the market and get you a ticket or so because we got to have you. Listen, you are the president.
I want to say, man. I mean, how much tickets cost, man? Like $200. Man,
listen to me. Now, listen.
It's rough out here, man.
Now, Jalen, you know, I got a love-hate relationship with the A&T administrators. You know, it's well documented how I feel about that damn baseball stadium. I promise you, if the architect of the greatest homecoming win in school history does not have a damn ticket, I'm gonna lose my mind. Y'all about to see a different side of me. So I'm gonna put that out. I'm gonna put that in the atmosphere. I'm gonna say you and one and a date. You're +1. So I want Jalen Fowler, who had the greatest homecoming win in school history. You better find him a sideline pass, a cabana, somewhere in the press box next to the board of trustees. I don't care. You need to be in that stadium anytime you want to, based on your skins on the wall that you already accomplished. So we'll have to work on behind the scenes because that's the we got to have.
I appreciate that because I think, and I know Jermaine has spoken this before, but this is like I think that's one of like the little culture aspects that's like going missing, like the players on the sideline. I do feel like that energy needs to be there. If possible, I don't care if it's Aggie Eagle Classic or Jiho. Like I can't because I was a Jiho last year, my first one as not a player, and like I was sitting in the crowd and I'm like, man, and we was playing Towson. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? Because everything when we came back against Campbell, man, I had Khalil was talking to me there in the game. Lamar was out there. All the guys that I came up with when I was in 2017, 2018, 2019, they were leaving. You know what I'm saying? They were there, and it's just like it just kept that feeling of camaraderie and that culture. Like this is Aggie pride. Like we got to get that back. We don't need our former players sitting in section. You know what I'm saying? Let those guys on the sideline, man.
I bet when you go down to Durham on Saturday, they're gonna have their former guys on their sideline, and they're gonna be all around the track, and they're gonna be everywhere they need to be to get that team hyped. So I agree with you on that. Like I say, man, we got some blind spots with some things we're doing now. We got to get figured out. But let's stay positive and let's make sure we get this win and we can have some good vibes to fix. But thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy, but don't give up the fight, man. Drake is about to come back, and it ain't over yet. Hey, listen.
round two
is coming up. All right, man. So look, we're gonna have to, like I said, I love talking to you, man. You got a unique perspective and this great energy. But so until next time, man, you stay up and we'll see you at Jiho. I'm guaranteeing that we're gonna see you at Jiho.
Okay, say less then.
All right, man.
I appreciate y'all having me on.
No problem. Thanks a lot, Jalen.
All right, y'all.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
That's the Jalen Fowler, former A&T quarterback, architect of the greatest homecoming win in school history. Earl Hilton, go ahead and find this man 2 passes or whatever you need, wristbands, whatever you need to get him in there, because we don't treat our greats like that. We got him in the building. So Craig, let's go ahead and move this thing along, man. So we before we go talk about Central, let's go back, take a step back. Unfortunately, let's do a little post-mortem. 42-13. We did not score an offensive touchdown. We did have the pick 6 by Aaron Harris. Aaron Harris looked pretty fast on that. But like you say, the trenches is where the game was lost. And I was getting frustrated. Then I looked around the roster. I was like, man, maybe we need to make some changes. And I'm seeing all these FRs in front of everybody playing. We got a lot of freshman linemen that we're playing. I think we got a nose tackle as a freshman. We got a lot of young people all over that depth chart on defense and offense too. Man, how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like did we do enough this offseason to bring in some true reinforcements? Because all I heard was that we got bigger and stronger in the trenches over the summer, and now kind of wonder where was that at? So Craig, was it where we kind of gave us some false advertising here?
No, it takes the average coach, when you're in a building process, a rebuilding process, whichever way you want to phrase it,
Yeah.
it usually takes. You usually don't see a team really take off until year 3. It takes at least 2 recruiting classes before you can see a demonstrative difference in the win loss record.
Right.
Now, that's not to say that uh, we can't we're not going to improve this year. We are
Yeah.
as the season goes along. I still say what I said in my column last week, um, that with the exception of 3 or 4 programs that are in the CAA, your Delawares, your Villanovas, your William and Marys, um, they're a cut above everybody else in this league. Everybody else in the CAA is on the same, basically roughly about equal.
Okay.
But those three, when you start talking about those 3 programs right there, they're on a different plane. They're on a different plane. But we'll be competitive against everybody else in this league. I think. I think we can be competitive against a couple of those folks later on in the season. If we get some consistency and start playing football the way we're capable of playing football. I think our biggest thing is that we're still integrating a lot of new pieces. You can't play as many young people as we do and not have periods where you're going to have breakdowns. But by the same token, when those kids when it does click on for them, you'll see it, you'll know it when it happens. Biggest thing I can tell A&T fans is you're just gonna have to show some patience for it
No, I ain't
because
doing
it's
that.
not.
Hey, Craig, don't forget about Richmond, who beat the dogs out of Central in the playoffs. They tough too.
Yeah, and Richmond's head out to the Patriot after this year too. So, Richmond's a good ball club, but Richmond's gotten tossed the last couple of weeks.
Really?
Yeah, they've gotten beaten. Yeah, one of those was an FBS team, but they got taken to the woodshed last week by was it Wofford? I think was it Wofford? I believe it was Wofford. Took them to the woodshed last week. So,
well, Craig,
but Doug, let me ask you this. Doug. Let me ask you this. You know who our most effective edge rusher was last week? I watched the film. Who our most effective edge rusher was last week?
Mac David,
Joshua Isaiah. Right.
we know what Josh can do. We know
what but that brings me to my question to you, Doug. Do we have enough size on that defensive line to impact the passer, the opposing offense? Because if we are bringing a guy and I love him to death.
FCS freshman All-American. Let's not sell him short as if he's not a ball player. He's a ball player.
He's 6'2" and he's listed as 220, and he's your edge rusher. You talk about going against left tackles.
Josh Isaiah is not a thin 220 nothing. If he's 220, it's because he lost some weight. All right. He is a little more mobile because he's a stand-up linebacker. He played the edge for us last year. Played, I think, all 11 games or started a majority of the games and didn't get hurt. So he's a tough, hard-nosed football player. Who we want out there.
I was thinking he was going to be the middle linebacker. If my middle linebacker,
he's not our middle linebacker. That's not his skill set, right?
He's listed on the depth chart. Them inside linebacker. Listen,
don't worry about what you see on the depth chart. Trust your eyes and what he was able to do on defense last year.
Okay,
he's still that kind of player. We're not in practice every week. We don't know who's banged up, who's nicked up, why he may or may not be playing a certain amount of snap. It's still the first quarter of the season. Just game 3. We played 3 games. This time last year, the last 2 years, we were just getting ready to play Norfolk and South Carolina State the year before. Those were games that we won game 4 last year and the year before. So we've been in this position where we were kind of figuring things out, and Aggie Nations begins to panic. You're like, wait a minute, we're still finding our way. This is just the 4th game of the season. We're still in the first quarter of the season for the most part. So this is one of those games that you can hope to get your feels a little bit better. But we've essentially played 2 FBS opponents, and the Division II opponent you played, it was wire to wire. It was a tough ball game for you. So you haven't had any passes, you hadn't had any blowouts where you're able to kind of get in rhythm and get some young guys some reps. We've been learning on the fly, which is a good thing. We're a young team this year. We were a young team last year. We're improved from last year. There's no doubt about it. So continue to let things play out. You're going to have to be patient. For one, there's only one game every week. So we're going to have to wait from Saturday to Saturday. We're going into the 4th Saturday that we play this week with what I consider to be an evenly matched opponent. So let's just see what happens this week and happens going forward. I think you'll be able to tell a lot from our football team over the course of the next couple of weeks.
All right, so let me ask you, Doug, do you want to watch any film for this Delaware game? Y'all got a stomach for that?
Yeah, there's always something good to get from the film. I've moved on to this week.
All right. So I asked you that question. Let me ask you one more question, and this is to Craig. When was the last time they heard you say this play changed the momentum? All right, let me swing it back to Doug because I got that question for you. When was the last time they heard you say this play changed the outcome? All right, you ready? Come on now. All of it together. These 3 plays. All right.
What you got? These 3 plays.
These 3 plays.
All right.
Hold on a second. So let me pause it. Is how's that fuzzy? Are we good? We okay?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
We good. All right. So this is the deal. So this is kind of play. This is a half of the first play. We first drive of the game. They they're doing what they do. They run the ball. We actually man up and get a stop on 3rd down
and throw it. Yarns drops shy of that first down marker, and the A&T defensive front with a big stop on the first drive.
So that's what you want. You come out, that Blue Def defense bows up. We get these fools off the field. They we kick off them. We defer. So we get to stop them on their drive, get ready for our punt coverage, and we about to get a quick statement in. We show them who's boss. but lo and behold, something happened. These fools, they on their 35-yard line. No, they on their 32-yard line. These fools are going for it on 4th and 2.
For a loss of 1, Delaware, they're thinking about going.
Like Coach said, that had been pretty much their MO.
Listen, Dougie, I don't care what your MO is. If you go for it on 32, on 4th and 2 on your own 32 on the first drive of the game, that means you do not respect your opponent. That's what you do in Part 1 of football when you smuggled in a couple of 14-year-olds on a 12U league, and you got and you got fake IDs. That's what you do in that situation. You don't do that in college football on the first drive of the game.
If I got an offensive line that sits and 350 across the front, I'm gonna run the ball. I don't care who. I don't care. I'm gonna run the ball. If I got if I got an offensive line that sits and 350, run against a defense that I probably outweigh them by 30 to 35 pounds a man, or even more, I'm gonna run the football.
So here's the first of the 3 plays.
The Blue Hens coming in confident. YOLO for Delaware on their own 32 here. Yarns takes it. And
there was not one person who won a one-on-one battle on that play. There was not one A&T defender who won a one-on-one battle on that play. All right, so that's the first of the 3 plays. That was a big statement. I mean, that made you take your head off and like, okay, these guys don't respect us. I know that had to really irk Coach Brown. He's the defensive guy. You never want nobody to respect your defense like that. Like, we don't care where we at. We going for it on 4th. It wasn't even 4th and inches. I could see it was like the brotherly shove that Philadelphia Eagles do. This was a regular. We just don't care what y'all got. We're going to run off tackle, and we're going to get the yard. All right, so.
He has the first down. Eternity.
Now, here's the thing you talked about, Craig. So this is the second. So this is 3rd and 22. Now let me paint the picture. So the score is 18-10. It's 2 minutes left before halftime. We've done a great job so far. We got them down to the 7-yard line, and all we gotta do is get a stop here. They don't have the best special teams. They missed the extra point in the field goal. So listen, we get a bad punt here, we can score. This could be a 1-point game or tied up going to half. What happens, Craig? You want to set the stage?
I don't think we rushed 2, maybe 3 guys, dropped back in the coverage. They ran the skinny post, and he got in between the corner and the safety in an open space in that zone, and he hit him dead in the hands. It's just that simple. We gave him too much time to pick up the play
for Delaware.
It's just too much time.
3rd and 22 for the Blue Hens from their own 7-yard line.
We dropped 2, and we had a nose guard play in the spot. Good Lord. And I love Coach Jay-Z, man. We have him on the show. He's so much forthcoming with his time. Very, very personable guy. Coach Jay-Z, we got to figure this out, man. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm a suggestion. We never see this defense again, because there's no scenario where even on Hail Mary, if we only him here in the game, I don't want you to drop back. I don't want you to rush 2 guys into double teams. They didn't even get a chance to even do any twists. You just basically wasting 2 defensive edge rushers and run them into double teams. The center is like, man, I ain't got nothing to do. I'm supposed to just look like I'm blocking somebody because the nose guard drops back as soon as it snaps. And then you got what? So please argue this. Please argue this.
If you send the nose guard, does he get there? Because he's gonna get double teamed too. All right, so
he's 1-on-1. The nose guard is 1-on-1 with the center. The center got nothing to do.
At this point, the running back's not even out in the scheme yet. He's not even out in the flats just yet. He may chip that guy. He's looking to chip somebody on his way out. Either way, it's 5-on-3, 5-on-2. You're not expecting to beat those guys with your pass rush. And I don't care what you say. I'm not blitzing on 3rd and 22. We've been there before as well.
Why not? That's how you get a tip ball that gets interception for a touchdown.
How many sacks did we have in this game?
Let me ask you a question. Like I asked,
has our pass rush been the strength of our defense?
No, it has not. But right. I'm gonna ask you, Dougie.
So when we dropped into coverage and Aaron Harris got the tip pick for an interception, that was a bad defensive scheme as well, right? I mean, it doesn't always work out for you guys. They get paid to draw stuff up too. They have 4 receivers that are stretched almost all the way to the numbers, right? So I don't know how well it plays you to have a bunch of defenders inside the box when they got their 4 playmakers way outside, right? You know that they're going to run deep. I argue that I saw a lot of great jerseys in the frame where the ball was. We just need somebody to be a playmaker, right? Somebody has got to be a playmaker when the ball goes down the seam on 3rd and 22. All right.
So let me ask you, Doug. If you a quarterback and it's 3rd and 22 from your shadow of your own end zone, do you want this defense? Would you prefer, if you could pick every defense that you had to go against on 3rd and 22? I'm pretty sure you picked this one.
Wasn't it you that told me how bad a passer this guy was, or how good he wasn't? Show me you can beat me throwing into my coverage.
If he gets to his spot,
if you play at Madden, you're not blitzing on this play. You're dropping in the coverage. You're playing dime, safe, or whatever your coverage is, right? 3rd and 22, you are playing pass coverage. Now, if you want to say I bring another guy or I brought a guy off the edge, fine. But something in their scheme, we on 3rd and long, this is what we drew up. Now, granted, if you say you want to bring another defender, okay, I get it. You might get him off the mark. You might chase him out the pocket. But I believe our intention was to keep the guy in the pocket, right? Let him sit in there and force him to make a throw from the pocket to beat us just down the field for
you know what, you make a compelling argument. Actually, I just got a text from P. Diddy. He says he's changed lawyers. He wants you
P.
to
Diddy is texting you. That's a whole nother conversation.
He wants you to represent him. He said you're the only person to get him off because you could make an argument where there is no defense. But okay,
I'm not gonna fuss at the scheme on this, man. We had gray shirts in the proximity of the football. Did we run the clip? The field goal line. You can say what happened up front. Do you
over
see
the
the center,
middle. That
honey?
one is
We had
complete.
three
It'll
guys.
be good for a
Three
first
guys
down
there.
and more as
Right,
Phil
three
Lutz
guys.
takes it out towards midfield, and the threat is over.
Yeah, that's something that
Three
you
guys.
can't
I'm pretty
allow
sure that guy doesn't
for the
have his
defense for
responsibility
A&T
in the
third
flat.
and
His responsibility is
20
right down there where they
plus.
threw the football.
This
All
dude,
right.
quarterback from Delaware, got flashbacks of playing 707 in Myrtle Beach at a big tournament in Myrtle Beach because he's like, I'd never seen this much space. He was like,
I'll argue those guys would have been, regardless of what you did up front, those are the same guys that would have been right there on the hash, regardless of what you did up front. That's your safety, your linebacker that was dropping in the coverage. Those are the same guys that would have been there in majority of your coverages, right? Regardless of what you did up front. So we gotta make some more plays in the secondary, man.
All right, so that's the second of the 3 plays. Here's the last one.
That's just an excellent pitch and catch. Now a big third down early.
So now it's what was that, 21-13. We this is third quarter. We're trying to we have our drive. We actually botched the opening kickoff of the third quarter and started on like the 5-yard line. So that kind of derailed our momentum. But we bowled up again. Like I say, there was some positives here. We fought. One thing about a Coach Brown team, these guys fight hard. I've never seen them just throw in the towel no matter what the scenario was, right? So to his credit, these guys fight hard. They were fighting here. They were undermanned and undersized, but they were fighting. So they got the 3rd and 14 once again. And if we get a stop, we're only down. It's very plausible, man. We got a chance. We're down 8 points. Anything can happen. Still got plenty of time. But this was the backbreaker
in the third quarter for both teams.
And this is thrown into the wind at this
dropping
point.
Back, canvassing, has his man. It's Lutz. Is he wrestled down before the marker? The initial spot shows he is.
So basically, it was 3rd and 14. They got it. It was 3rd and 14. They got 13 yards, and of course on 4th down they went for it. They got like a false start. So offsides penalty on us. So that was the 3rd of 3 plays. They end up scoring on that drive to go at 28-13, and we really never recovered from there. But those are, in my opinion, were 3 of the most pivotal plays in the game last week against Delaware.
Hey, were we in position on that play to make a play? Right?
Yes,
yeah. All right. So a lot of times it's not always the scheme, man. Sometimes we're right there. We just got to make the play. And credit to Delaware, they executed. They're a tough ball club, but I'm encouraged by the fact that we're in position. We're close enough to make some plays. All right. So
close. All right. So I guess now the sport is hand grenades and horseshoes.
Horseshoes.
I guess it's what we're playing now, Craig. Forget about football. we're just trying to get close, man. All right.
We doing hindsight. We looking back at what we should have done. So that's no different. I mean, all right. Hey, this week, right? You just want to get a little bit closer. Keep stacking, keep building, and when it all comes to fruition, and you turn that corner, Craig, get over that hill. Who knows what can happen.
All right, so guys, we're going to open up the show at this point to the fans. We want you guys, if you got a comment about this upcoming game against Central, we want to hear from you. I put the link in the chat. Also put the link on Inside on A&T Fan Forum, BlueDeathValley.com. There's a thread for Inside the Valley this week. At the bottom of the thread is a link to this show. But before we do that, let me also talk about what has transpired thus far this week, because we had some shots were fired. Craig, we had some comments, some unusual comments.
From Trey Oliver. I have a lot of respect for Trey Oliver, but I thought he was out of pocket this week. But
you know who else? You know who else thought he was out of pocket? I guess the athletic department at Central, because when they put out the recording of the press release this week, they strategically removed that, I guess, bulletin board material. However, whatever's on the internet always resides on the internet. We can always get it. So let me bring it back. So this because the Central thing, they slick. They we're the technical school. They the law school and whatever else they do. So we went to the dark web and found the actual sound bite from Coach Oliver that they tried to remove. Let me bring it up.
Came out about 3 days after we beat them at their place. So I don't know. His account had to have been hacked because there's no way a head coach would have put that out there after getting beat by their rival. And I kind of find it hard to believe because I don't think that he probably would have been doing that in the CAA, sending that to Richmond and those other schools in that conference. So I don't know if he comes to, black college.
Ooh, he went there. Hey, Dougie. Dougie. Dougie.
Yeah, it really wasn't a call.
Dougie, he went there. He said what a lot of people thinking. He said the unspoken. He said the quiet part out loud. Dougie. Okay, let me keep playing.
I thought he was going to
try to throw shade.
What you say, Doug?
Let it play. Let it play.
All right, let's go back, man.
Because I don't think that he probably would have been doing that in the CAA, sending that to Richmond and those other schools in that conference. So I don't know if he comes to, black college and now he wants to try to throw shade. But and it's ironic because like 2 of those trophies, I was a part of winning those championships. So you look close, that might be one of those pictures.
Ooh.
And half the staff was from Central anyway. But we worry about what we do here in Durham. And
obviously, I worry about a little bit more than that.
Listen, the whole clip in Coach Brown's tweet was in reference and retaliation to the comments that he made at his press conference.
Right.
And the crowd at A&T. So we know Coach knows about A&T. He's won some championships here at A&T. And he's got a lot of CAA on their mind. Look, those guys play a half CAA schedule to begin with. They don't play with 5 conference games in the MEAC. They play 3 to 4 CAA teams a year. A&T, Elon, Campbell, Richmond last year in the playoffs when they got thumped. So I mean, they're very familiar with the CAA too, and so is the entire conference. If you look at every team in the MEAC, they probably have a game against a CAA opponent. So that speaks to the level that the CAA plays at. So it's what it is, man. You got trade. That's crazy mode right there. Trade's a good guy over there.
Let me finish it off though. Because he had one more shot to end.
I don't know. Coach gonna have to go back to, I guess. I don't know. Somebody gonna have to help him with his trash talk or taking shots or whatever, because that was kind of lame right there.
Ooh, good Lord. Craig, when's the last time you had a head coach talk to when's the last time you heard a head coach talk like that at a press conference? I mean, I know.
Last time I heard that was when Jim McKinley was here and Bill Hayes was over at Winston-Salem State. That's the last time I heard that much trash talk, because Bill used to talk some trash to Jim McKinley on a regular, and that's when he first took over at Winston-Salem State, and he put the wood to A&T for the first couple of years when McKinley came in as head coach. So yeah, that's the last time but I just thought that last year the statements that he made about A&T's crowd and we weren't going to have a bigger crowd than that the whole rest of the year and all that, I know what he's doing. He's getting his team fired up. That's what that's what coaches do. A lot of coaches do that. They're getting their guys riled up, try to get them to a fever pitch by Saturday, and so I take it for what it's worth. But it's just, to me, I think to pull up something from
a year ago,
12 months ago, yeah. I would be, but to each his own. It's not the way I would approach it, but to each his own.
Let me contrast that with what Coach Brown said at his press conference, because I don't think he really took the bait that much.
No, he didn't.
Balance just having a regular, like, going to places with another game, and also saying this is rivalry weeks, etc. How do you balance that emotional shit?
Well, this is the next game. And I understand that, there's a lot of love and rivalry centered around this game, but we'll have 8 more games after this one.
Oh, hold on a second now. Okay, now, Coach, you ain't got to. You don't have. This don't have to be. Kendrick Lamar and Drake going back and forth, right? But this ain't another game. I don't like that attitude publicly. You might feel like this is but we gotta give some meat to the fan base here. You gotta understand the importance of this. I don't like that. This is another game. I don't think that was the right tone. I understand. Jalen Fowler kind of said the same thing, but it's hard for a fan to hear that and be pumped up about
to Coach's defense, Trey said the same thing. If you would have heard his entire press conference, he said the same thing. It's just another game and playing, keeping our guys, having the thermostat mentality, keeping our guys cool. Yeah. So that's coach talk. That's what you're supposed to tell your guys. You got to know how to rev your team up at the right moment, right? So, this is coach's talk now. I'm sure his talk won't be the same Friday night. It won't be the same Saturday morning. So, it's all about having them ready to go when it's time. So, it's his coach talk. It's his coach talk. Every coach in America will give you this speech before the big rivalry game, right?
All right, let me see what else he says.
There's a lot of love and rivalry centered around this game.
Not too much love, Coach. The other thing, the opposite of love.
But we'll have 8 more games after this one, and so.
Damn it! This is the only game I care about, Coach. I don't want to care about the other 8. All right, let's focus on this one. All right. We got to get this one. Then we can talk about the other 8, okay?
Every week, we're focused on trying to find a way to win that particular game.
Okay.
That game only.
That's it.
And we know the things that we need to improve on. We talk about it. We structure our meetings. We structure our practices, our drills, all with the mindset of how do we improve on what we put on display last week. And so, it's easy to stay focused on this opponent.
Okay. All right. So that was Coach Brown talking about the rivalry and how his team's preparing for Central. So let me go ahead. Before we get to that, we're gonna talk a lot about that. But before we get to that, let me go ahead and bring in 2 guys who've been on the show before, but they got some comments. They ain't been in a while. Of course, my man Dave and from PNP, and then of course Aggie 94, and bring both of them at the same time. Gentlemen, how you guys doing?
There's Dave.
Guys.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, man.
What's up, Dave? 94. What's up, Pop?
Yeah, in the house.
So guys, man, y'all.
What's up, Newt? What's up, good people?
Man.
So guys, y'all saw the dueling press conferences, man. Dave, give me a takeaway from the tone of both those gentlemen.
I want to know what Trey. I don't think Trey. I'm trying to get Trey some rope. I don't know if he did. Somebody asked him about it. Somebody had to ask.
Oh yeah. So
okay, somebody did that because I didn't.
Yeah, the reporter from the local reporter from like the Raleigh station or the TV station. He asked him that.
Oh yeah, he got a raise. He got a raise for that, bro.
But
he was waiting on it. He had it in his pocket.
So Central, they put out their recording of the press conference like we do ours. So
I noticed it wasn't there because I watched it I saw the thing, and I noticed it wasn't there. So I was wondering was it from the MEAC one, but the MEAC never posted theirs.
So Central got their Adobe Premiere fired up and they did some edits. we cut
look, man, they probably knew it was out of pocket.
Woo.
They knew it was out of pocket. That's why they cut it.
It
was out of pocket.
And and
the fact that he went to Valley. Now we were having a debate about that because I was asking folks. Because when you think about Coach Brown's path, right?
Yeah.
He went to Valley. Valley, you ask a Jackson State alum, that ain't their rival. Like
Alcorn's their rival.
You sure about that?
Southern and Alcorn. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm from Houston. Yeah, they don't like Alcorn.
I know they don't like Alcorn or Jackson, but do they see them as rivals? Like
Valley? Oh yeah, Valley don't have a rival.
That's my point. Valley doesn't. Valley doesn't have a rival.
They're Wake Forest.
So he was on the coaching staff for Howard.
Yeah.
The rival's Hampton. That ain't this. Like that's not this.
And that's not the they ain't
this. I mean, that's like
the
that's like Morehouse and Howard on CNBC That's like the financial bowl, like the endowment bowl or something like that.
That's the upper crest boule black folk.
Like so. I say all that to say, I don't think Coach Brown had a realization of what the rivalry was until he got that first experience. Went Greensboro like that. I don't think he understood, and I don't know if he fully still does.
That's one question. All right, 94.
I don't think he fully still does.
94. Does he know what he's walking into? Because I promise you that when you get on that sideline and you feel
he doesn't.
Oh my Lord, it's different. Like even as a fan, if you've never been to Central Stadium, as a fan, it's just night and day. Let me get back.
Dave, it's time for Coach Brown to turn into the Undertaker. He needs to turn into Taker.
He gotta turn into the Undertaker, man.
Yeah.
I posted earlier this week that with everything that we've got going on, that our guys need to be playing not in a panic mode, but with a sense of urgency. And if I've got one complaint of what I've seen, this season to this point is that we don't play with a sense of urgency.
Right.
And I want to. I can't really, put into words what I'm trying to get across, but it's just like I don't see any passion. And you and I kind of commented on Saturday. I don't see any alpha dogs out there on the field.
Well, okay, so 94. I talked to one of the players after the game at Doug's tailgate, and I that's what got me reassured. Okay, this guy gets it, and he's a leader. He's been, he's a team captain, and he assured me. But I don't want to say who I talked to, but he has a understanding of the rivalry from his roots, right? So he knows, and I think he can carry that message over. It's just that if the coach is not feeding you that gunpowder, like Dave, this is something that's got to be in your blood 24. You can't just start this week.
And the thing is, this is the first one. This is the first one in Durham too. So like it's different there. And I've never been to it in Durham, but I've heard it's different there. They're right by the the players.
Yeah.
So it's not the same. So this is gonna be his first one in Durham. And I heard
it does not have to be Coach Brown.
The band's not coming.
That's what I heard.
The band's not coming. Dougie,
I'm gonna give you some more context on that, but
I know the context.
Is that true? Is that true, Dougie? As of Wednesday night,
the story is Central is charging the band $50 a band member
from the overage
in the game, right?
From the overage. I guess their section that they have for the visitor side isn't big enough for the band. Soccer, right?
That's fair.
So
it's not big enough for the fans.
That's fair.
Exactly. Well, no, actually it is. They don't have that many, so it is big enough for the fans. It is.
Yeah. So are we balking at that? So Dr. Ruff doesn't want to. He don't want to pay $50.
It's not. Listen. It's more than paying the $50. There's a total cost, and we've talked about this to move that band, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Central hasn't charged anybody else for seats, regardless.
That's gamemanship. Then don't cut your nose off to spite your face.
It's definitely gamemanship, but also with that, if it's a policy change, fine, right? If this is what you do,
that's what I said.
Okay.
That's exactly what I said.
The curveball the week of, you got it's not an accident, right? I'm not putting this on the band, athletics, anybody else.
Nope.
Look at me real close. I'm gonna pull in here close. Chancellor Martin. If you want to endear yourself to Aggie Nation,
Deuce Martin.
Yeah. If you can find a way to get that band down there and in those stands and cover whatever charge or fee there is, you will endear yourself to Aggie Nation quicker than you can with any marketing campaign, any donation, anything else. If he says, "Hey, my band is going to be in that stadium, and I'm going to find a way to make it happen," I'm just giving you a little nugget, Chance. If you can find a way to make that happen, you'll win a lot of Aggies over very quickly. But that's gamesmanship, Samaj, like you said.
And that's nuke to nuke.
That is nuke to nuke, sir. Because this gentleman is one of the finer nukes in the area. Welcome, glad to have you here in the greater Greensboro area. But that's gamesmanship. And it puts a strain on the folks that have to make those decisions. At the last minute. We like to plan like anybody else. And we have a budget like anybody else. Fortunately, we're not in the red like some other schools here in the state. But it's more than a notion. It is more than a notion to have to come up with funds or reallocate some things here at the last minute. So, I'd like to see us make it happen. I don't think it's totally ruled out at the moment. But we definitely would have to have some things happen. Chancellor might have to wave his magic wand to get that going. But yeah, we'd love to see the blue and gold marching machine. Let's face it, the central folk and everybody else in the stadium wants to see the blue and gold marching machine down there.
And the thing is, somebody tweeted me saying, "Oh well, your fans gonna be fans," and I was about to retweet saying, "No, I think y'all's will. They're gonna feel away if the band ain't there.
They're gonna feel away. There'll be less fans on the Aggie side that attend the game. There'll be less casual fans that attend the game because the band's won't be there. Because let's face it, nobody's going to see the sound.
I don't know the name of them.
The sound thingy. We're down there. Or as Auntie Roy calls them, 9 tubas or however many they got now. You know what I'm saying? So, it's one of those things. It's unfortunate. You'd like for a rivalry game. I could understand if the game was selling out in 12 minutes like our homecoming and, had a $300 markup value on the tickets right now. But there's still seats available. There's still tickets available for this game. So, it's kind of unfortunate. So, like you said, Dave, don't be mad when we return the favor a few years down the road because, we ultimately run this.
And that's the thing. Like folks was like, "Well, do you guys charge?" Like you don't let folks go to homecoming, but that was a policy. But any other game, they can come. We ain't charging.
Yeah,
they can come. Some choose not to, and that's their prerogative. The part of the reason why they made the decision on the policy for Geo. They were like, "Well, most times the bands ain't coming anyway." Makes sense.
Yeah, and I guess we lost 94. He probably dropped back in because I got kicked out for a second. Something's going on too. I screamed, but this is when. Honestly, the grown folks in the room have got to step up. One chancellor needs to call the other chancellor, like, "Hey, can we figure something out?" You will hope that as a HBCU chancellor, leader of a institution of higher learning, for a big rivalry game, that we all can kind of put some silly stuff aside and get everybody together for just the game operations of the evening. You got people excited, just like we saw in Winston State. That was a great HBCU expo almost, right? So we're going to have the same thing on a probably even larger scale in Durham.
Not really, because the stadium's not big enough.
No, and ask yourself as a Central fan, do you want to see an entire wall of Aggie blue and gold accompanied by the largest blue and gold marching machine in history? Right? I can see the visual now. And when and let's face it, man, a big play here or there and that band get the cranking up, that momentum get to swinging, that is their worst nightmare.
I thought they should have just showed up and just played, looked at the game and played whenever their offense was on the field. Just be outside the stadium, just blowing.
I'm telling you, man, they don't want that band down there, man. That is a game changer. So, I think that is going to take away from the game atmosphere, not just on our edge and our.
Well, no, I mean, I just think A&T was in the news about it when the whole thing with Hampton happened. So I feel like the whole back and forth about that, and I'm like, didn't miss a thing, right? So it's like, it's their call, man. They should be fortunate they've already sold most of their tickets now. I don't think they would have sold as much without them.
Hey, so let me ask you, both of you guys, 94, welcome back, and Dave. One of my things that I was lamenting was just the lack of size that we and I say this even in the Winston State game. I just looked at them and said, "Damn, that team looked bigger than us on line of scrimmage." Are you guys? Craig said just an anomaly. We played one of the best teams in FCS football.
With 20 something more scholarships too.
I got you. So are you guys concerned about our size for the 2024 A&T football team? Is that a concern for you, 94?
Not so much the size as our lack of I don't want to say lack of athleticism, but team speed specifically.
Yeah. That's a good point too.
Yeah. And Delaware is one thing, but we had the same difficulties with Winston State.
Yeah, and
that's what I'm more worried about that than anything else. Like Delaware, I'm not as shocked. They got extra scholarships. Those guys was the champions last year in the conference. Like, got it right. We played them tougher last year, but that might have been a weather factor too. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, I'm not harping on that as much. I'm more concerned about what I saw against Winston.
Hey, Craig, you tell me, what's the strength of our defense? Is it the line? Is it the linebackers? Is it the corners? Is it the safeties? What is the strength of the Blue Devil defense this year?
Corners.
Easily.
From what I've
Easily.
seen from these first 3 games, the corners.
So
Harrison Trunny.
I agree 100%. And everything else, to me, is the opposite of what you want to call strength, okay? Because that defensive line, man, I didn't want to break down all the bad film, but if you go back at your own leisure and look at the replay of this game, I can't think of about maybe out of 50 plays we did on defense, I can't think of maybe a handful where we just got manhandled on the line of scrimmage.
But those guys were big, man. Like you talking, their offensive linemen average over 325 pounds.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, but then our linebackers, right? So I'm trying to figure out. I wish we could get Coach Jay-Z back, and probably after my tweets he ain't come back no more. But I love Jay-Z. But listen, I'm trying to figure out, because what are we asking? And anybody jump in. What are we asking our linebackers to do in this scheme? Because too often it seems like they just stand around covering grass, like they're looking for something, and then they're always late to the ball. I like Mac David. I promise he had 13 tackles, a career high 13 tackles Saturday, and it was like the most unimpactful 13 tackles I can remember. Like it just didn't feel like those 13 tackles were game changing plays. It's like he was like last in the party.
But one thing I will say, and I've noticed this within all 3 games, is that we missed a lot. We've been missing a lot of tackles too.
Yes, yeah.
Like that is going to be the big factor, considering the game that we're coming up. Because that kid Jamari Taylor's legit. He's a good running back for those boys over there in Durham. He's legit.
Yeah, we're missing tackles, and we're not getting off of blocks on the corners. We're not getting off the blocks. We're getting tied up. And guys are either running around us or running past us, because we're allowing ourselves to get tied up, letting guys get up into our chest, and you can't do that. You can't do that. It's the fundamental things. Part of it's strength, part of it's inexperience. But if you're going to play defense, especially off the edge, and that's where we're being hurt the worst. You've got to get off the block. You have got to get off those blocks.
So a question I want to ask the group, given what we have, would we be better in a 4-3?
Hold that question, because I see BJ. BJ, jump in the chat, man, because you've been talking smack on the A&T fan forum. I want to ask you a couple questions. So when you get a chance, BJ, click the link and get in the chat. All right, so what was that question again? I'm sorry, 94.
I'm just asking, with our personnel and what we have, would we be better off running a 4-3?
Yep.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. because right now, if you want to say the corners are the strength of our team, right? The defensive line is the weakness of our team. So I don't want to allocate more resources to those dudes. I would. Good Lord, I don't know. Maybe a 3-3-5, 3-5, something. I don't know. It's just
the only reason why I think a 4-3 might work better is we're not getting anything off of them. Maybe we might have a better shot with a 4-man rush, because
basically, are you going to take guys and just run them into blocks? I mean, they're not moving the pocket. They're not causing.
But it's easy. But the thing is, it's easier for 5 guys to block 3. Like,
yeah.
We're not playing a true 3-man front most of the time. We have 4 men at the line.
Yeah, we do.
And who's that 4th man? The damn middle linebacker, Joshua Isaiah is
Javon Grady Armstrong. We even brought Mac David up a few times when needed to apply.
Hey, what's up with number 0? What's the guy's name?
Hardy.
What's going on with him? What's going on with him? Can we? Is that a milk carton guy?
Yeah, he's got a sack and 3 pressures, I think.
Okay,
or 2 pressures.
So can we get more of him?
Flashed against Wake Forest. He's still getting healthy, right?
And your guy, Dingle Prince, he's out still. What's the deal?
I don't know, but we hadn't said much about injuries. But if he's out there Saturday, it's a plus for the Aggies. I tell you that much. If he played Saturday, you're gonna know that he played. All right, because we definitely notice when he doesn't play. But I'll say this, guys. We've been in one game that was pretty much close throughout. Played well in the first half of both of the other 2 games. Right, we were within a score, and I think if I told you either one of those games at the end of the first half, this was the score and this was the position, everybody on here would be okay with being down a score against Wake Forest and against Delaware, right?
That's
We would
true.
take
That's
that.
good point.
So we have
That's
two
true.
halves and two different games that we weren't completely satisfied with when, you know, we were overmatched for one. But even into the third quarter of those games, we were still, you know, a play away or a possession away, and we're learning. We're learning to win. That's why I feel that Winston game was so important, because we actually got that valuable experience of, you know, playing in the second half of a ball game in the overtime.
Right.
I'd like to point out that how many halves have we had that we closed out with a score? We talk about a sense of urgency. Well, we closed out Winston with a half of a field goal. We closed out the end of the game with a game time field goal to send us to overtime. We got to score the touchdown in the Winston game to win the game.
That's
the first end of the first half of the Delaware game, we kick a field goal to score. So those are things that I think going down the road, when we talk about building, I have confidence that if it comes down to us going down to win the game, we feel pretty good that we can score in that moment. And we didn't just get down there by running the football.
That's a good point.
White made some plays.
Listen, that 2-minute drill, if that hasn't been a fluke, that's been established that we are excellent at the 2-minute drill in end of half scores. Almost every game we've made.
They practice it a lot, man. They have to, and he said it numerous times. They practice that. They're good at it. They are good at that.
And so I don't know if you guys.
Last year when we fumbled on 2 of those possessions that we could have won.
Right.
So that is the growth that we're looking for, and eventually it's going to be in a big game like this Saturday, and we go down there and make it happen. And we're going, hey, you know what? We've been there before. We can lean on the end of those halves and those positions that we came out of. So we'll see.
Okay, that's one. Okay,
that's a good point.
That's a
that's a good point. No, he's dead on there. There's no question. I ain't arguing that one.
And then listen, and Craig, you can attest. Anytime you go to a game that's a 50-50 game on paper, and in your back pocket, you got the best place kicker in college football. when you got Money Brown, right? Then you feeling good about yourself, because you know, like you say, we get down to last second kick. The advantage is us. I mean, special teams, I don't care what they got. Advantage is going to be us on Saturday.
If I can get the ball to your 40-yard line, I'm probably going to get. I got about a 95% chance I'm going to get points out of it. So you know that is a huge weapon in a close ball game where you have a guy that can kick like he can. Because I'm telling you, at the rate he's going, if he continues on this tear, that guy's going to be playing on Sundays somewhere, because he's got a foot, he's got a leg, he's got a serious leg, and he's accurate as hell. You know, he was kicking those balls into the wind on Saturday, and the one right before halftime was like, I don't know, the wind was blowing pretty hard in his face, and he's just flat nailed it. So you know,
and Doug, I don't know if you didn't see the press conference. You might have seen the replay, but they asked him, and like the dude's like a player coach now. He's the one that made the decision
pretty cool.
to let the other guy be a punter. He's like, he's like, so like Coach Banks is like, what do you think? Like, I don't say you asking your player what he thinks about another player being ready to take over some of his duties. Like, I'm so good at kickoffs and field goals, I can hand off my light work to another guy. That's crazy. But they trust him, and if you saw him in front of the microphone at the press conference, you understand.
Yeah, he was excellent, man.
That dude is good, man.
He's a pro's pro. Like, he should be playing on Sundays.
Money Brown, listen, if he ain't playing football at the next level, he's gonna be a captain of industry at the next level, because he just got it. He got the it factor. He's just steady, just a cool customer. I mean, just love the presence he had. So look, we don't want to go too long tonight, because we're gonna probably, I don't know, we might have to do a Blue Death After Dark if things go right or things go wrong. We'll figure either way on Saturday. Well, but look, let's go around the horn. Let's give some predictions. Let's start at the bottom. Go with the good Nuke 94. Well, what's your prediction score for Saturday?
24-20 Aggies.
24-20. Okay. What's going to be some deciding factor? What's something that's going to happen that's going to give us that push?
Kenji Christian. I think he's an X factor.
Gotta have him back.
I think he's an X factor. We haven't really talked about our quarterback play, but I think we got our quarterback. I think KJ is a real deal, and I think he's going to show that on Saturday. but 24-20.
All right, Dave, what do you think? And when you talk about KJ, y'all just had the Panthers. Y'all had I guess a revelation this week. Y'all figured that y'all undersized quarterback wasn't getting the job done. So
don't get me started, please.
That doesn't ring good for KJ. You know that was his ticket to the league. He's like, man, if Bryce can do it, I can do it.
I said this on PNP on Tuesday.
Yeah.
NFL is never going to draft an undersized quarterback that high ever again. That's over. That is done. That is over.
Dave, explain something to me. Why the hell did they have CJ Stroud?
Oh God!
Literally there.
Don't do that, David.
Why in the hell? How in the hell do you pass on CJ?
I had my power rankings
and go after the shrimp. I don't get it.
Oh, I get it. We got a meddling owner that makes all the decisions. That's what. And he was out at practice today too. He was out walking around practice. First day after they benched Bryce, walking around practice. It's a mess, man. It's a mess. The NFL got to bail us out, man. They got to vote him out as an owner. They got to figure it out. Find a scandal. Maybe he hung out with Diddy or something. Like something. That's how they got the last one out.
That's how they got Richardson out. And he was massaging feet or doing something crazy in the limo.
Calling folks mister and all that. Like it was, man.
Yeah, he had some.
Nah, but like it's a mess, man. Like I didn't have Bryce as my top three. Like I had him third behind Richardson and Stroud. I thought Richardson had the highest upside in the draft. Like from a player, I thought he had the highest upside, but I never wanted to trade the one either. So
yeah, I just think to make him the savior. If you trade that much and make him first overall, you're saying you're gonna have to fill all these other holes that we're gonna have, and that was just too much. You
traded your number one wide receiver. You traded his number one weapon to go get him.
That's crazy.
And then on top of that, you decided not to pay Burns. You ended up trading him. Because the choice was between Moore and Burns. I'm like, well, you weren't going to play. You already paid Moore. You might as well trade Burns. Send Burns over there. Because you weren't going to get the money to pay him. So you ended up not paying him. You already paid Moore. You traded him away. It's such a mess. Just a mess. I'm thinking about changing the name of the show.
To what?
Cover the whole league.
Oh, man.
I'd rather cover the league at this point.
Good Lord. That's bad, man.
I'll tell y'all something off the record when we're off the air.
All right. So what about Saturday, man?
Saturday. Let me see here. Saturday, we still don't know if Walker Harris is going to play for one.
Listen, don't make me go on Twitter and bring back the video of your man playing basketball with his head on the carpet at Richmond. Davis Richard. That dude had a concussion in a playoff game. He played third quarter. So they don't care about concussions at Central. That's one thing that does not. Dave, that is not a deal breaker. Listen.
Listen. I expect him to play. I expect him to play. All right, I do expect him to play. My only concern about I got A&T winning. I think we'll win by 7, 27-20. But I expect him to play. But my biggest concern right now with A&T is we got to figure out a way to neutralize Taylor. We have to neutralize Taylor. I think if we neutralize Taylor, if we make it so Walker's got to throw the ball more, I think we're going to be fine. Because nobody's discussed the fact that Walker hasn't really had good second halves this entire time he's been playing.
Let's discuss the fact that Kevin White has better numbers than Walker. Well,
that's a whole different discussion. Y'all ain't ready for that. Dave, they ain't ready for that.
I got on someone's show last year and pointed out that I thought our quarterback rooms wasn't too far apart. That we may have a better quarterback room, and I think at this point we do. Top to bottom.
If Walker can't play, this might be bad. If we can just at that point, all we gotta do is get in the box and neutralize Taylor. The other guy ain't that good. I don't think he's a true freshman.
Imagine a running back battle between Kenji.
And with Kenji coming back, it sounds like he's coming back. With Kenji coming back, I don't think they have an answer for that. They've had trouble stopping the run all year.
Yeah.
They've had trouble stopping the run overall right now.
Part of what makes Kenji effective is the fact that he's got Big West right behind him, and you marry those two together with West pounding on you too, man. And advantage ugly. So
hey, Billy J, jump in real quick. You came to the tail end. Give me your prediction for Saturday night.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here. Go ahead. Give me
I'm gonna give us. I say 21-14.
A&T. You predict A&T to win?
Yeah. Yeah, 21-14.
So what's going to be that key though? What's going to be the thing that pushes over the top?
Well, like I said, I think it's already been said. Like if guys in defense can play, or if Kenny Christian can play, that might be a big X factor.
Yeah.
Keyword defense. If our defense comes to play and puts pressure on the quarterback, forces bad throws.
We can't be sitting back and just waiting for.
No, we cannot. We cannot sit back.
Harris is the gunslinger too, so he'll take risks.
Right.
We gotta make him.
In other words, we gotta attack. That should be the key word: attack.
I want to see Harris at his best. I want to see what he can do under the rest. Can he roll out the pocket? Can he, can he read a disguise blitz? I don't want to have him getting a 5-step drop, having the whole comfort zone out there and just playing pitch and catch. Because they got some receivers. Right. I like their receivers. They have some good receivers. They got a great running back, but damn it, the quarterback is unproven. And I'm not gonna give him the benefit of the doubt until he showed me something. I'm from Missouri. You guys show me. But
right.
You say 21-14?
Yeah, I call it 21-14.
You gonna be down there? You going down to the game? You got a $100 ticket?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, that that don't cost no $100.
Huh?
It ain't sold out. It ain't cost no $100.
It ain't sold out. Yeah, for what I've heard.
Yeah, sold out. But
I'll be there.
For what I understand, they don't really call sellouts. They'll just bring everybody in like sardines. Like I guess they added bleachers or something to add another 2,000 seats.
Because they got the track.
No, they do the track.
They got the track.
They got the track.
They got a track, and they got that whole area on behind the I think the end zone area where they having seats. So yeah,
you paying to watch the big screen.
Screw that. I'll stay
home. Pretty much.
They need that money, man. They need that money now.
Yeah, I'm paying for ESPNU. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, they're a couple $1 million in debt, aren't they?
Yeah, they need the money, man. That's why they charge for the band with the additional seats.
Oh man, they need it.
Yeah,
they need that. They need that paper.
Oh, what does that mean?
And to your point, I hope that that somebody in higher ups can make something happen so that the band can come. So I haven't heard anything else otherwise either. If the band is or not coming, so
listen, it's north of $20,000 to move that band down to Durham Saturday. So it's more than a notion. So before anybody goes throwing blame, and I think that's estimating on the the safety, and I'm pretty sure it's probably a couple more dollars than that.
$20,000 to move a band to 45.
And you know what? You know what the funny thing is?
Yeah,
you know how much it costs?
Yeah, it's not cheap. It's never cheap to move the band
bro.
Anyway.
I'll give you an example. Have you been paying attention to what happened between FAMU and Miami? And FAMU decided not to bring their band. Part of the reason why they made the decision was because they only offered them $40,000. It costs way more money for that band to move. Yep. It ain't cheap for that band to move. It's $100,000 minimum.
Okay.
It's not cheap.
Oh.
Like it's not. That's why when when I have the discussions about the band and why it's important to support a band, that's why. It ain't cheap for those guys to move. FAMU don't really travel like that in the SWAC, and they get heat because of it. They don't go to all them games like that.
FAMU don't go nowhere
like that. They barely go to some of the games. They'll go to the classics, so they're probably getting the money to go.
Same thing with Bethune. Bethune don't go nowhere.
Bethune goes more than FAM does. Bethune goes more than FAM. But when you talk about the budgets of how much it costs for that band to move, it ain't cheap, guys.
Most of our parents,
it's never cheap.
It's not cheap with this economy. What they charge you for food? Talking about the buses, the gas, the food, to get all that stuff there.
Yeah, I think you feed them three meals.
At
least 3 meals that day.
So Dave, so when did the news come down to the machine that they had to pay? Was it like last week?
I've heard two different stories, right? Like, I don't know how soon it was, but it's still an expense that wasn't expected because we've historically gone there and not had an issue.
Right.
And then like somebody else popped a picture about when Bethune used to go there. They weren't charging in. Bethune always had a big band. Like, so we know what it's about, man. I mean, there's two layers to it. It could be gamesmanship. Maybe they need the money.
Now, but I did see something where the machine is going to Fayetteville for some recruiting, though. Is that correct?
Yeah,
that's true.
Listen, but that's an investment to the program. Like but my
I mean, the band is going for recruitment purposes. And not
Yeah, so
even bringing the whole band. I think like bringing like a little pet band.
So here's
okay.
Here's another example, right? For the CAA basketball tournament.
Yeah.
They went down to DC. They were down there and they performed during the tournament for both the men's and the women's tournament. And on top of that, they were recruiting and they performed at the ACC halftime show. They went to the ACC tournament. Okay. So like they perform not just for the football games. They go where they need to go.
Well, maybe
they'll get invited to different events that has nothing to do with a football game.
You know what they should do? This is my brilliant idea because I think UNC plays James Madison that afternoon. They should do a 2-for-1. They should drive down, play halftime for UNC James Madison, charge them with whatever type of small fee, and use that money to supplant their whatever it costs to go to Central. They can do a 2-for-1. Use the same bus, same gas, and all right. So
I think they would come if they weren't getting charged for them tickets. I'll be honest with you though. I think that's the rub. I think that's the rub ultimately because we didn't charge them when they came here last year.
We need to shit.
I mean, I'm just keeping the buck. We didn't charge them when they came last year. We ain't charged Winston when they came the other week either.
Now this is gonna be one of the things.
Somebody can come up with some money.
Yeah,
I mean, the money ain't the issue. It's the principle at this point.
It's the principle. It's the principle.
It's the principality to this. It's the principle at this point. Because if they said they needed X amount of dollars, and you tell the alums that money will be here like that, no hesitation.
Well, it would need to be because it's Wednesday. So
my point is, but it would be
made.
Yeah.
If the numbers out there and they say this is what we need to cover these tickets, because we almost did it for Gardner Webb. The money wasn't going to be a problem.
Well,
it was more things than that.
We're giving out scholarships.
What was the problem for Gardner Webb again?
They had to pay. They charged them for the tickets.
So if we had the money, then why we still didn't?
Well, they said they wanted rest too, right? So there was a rest thing too.
Don't get me started, Dougie. Take over, man.
You asking the questions, man? I'm giving you the answers, right? Listen, man, we're trying to save you, bro. We're trying to save you a bit. We're trying to save you. We're trying to save you some odds.
Where's my girl at? Where's my girl?
No. We're trying to save you some odds. We're trying to help you. We're coming. We're here to help.
You don't want to go there.
We're here to help.
You don't want to go there.
Don't have no problems, man. Those guys performed in most HBCU bands.
I wanted debate. Hold on a second. Didn't I win that debate last time?
No,
lady came?
You did not.
No,
you did not.
No,
you caught a fade, my brother.
The chat, remind me. Then I haven't lost an argument in a long time. Chat, who won that debate between me?
That might have been your last argument you lost. Okay, you definitely lost that one.
I want what the chat says. I think I had the best.
You got mollywopped that.
You got destroyed that day, bro. And I'll try to warn you, man. I was like, nah, don't do this, bro. You don't want these problems. But I will give you some credit, Samaj. I think enough people within the administration saw that because they did up the budget for them this year. They did up it to try to get more scholarships for them this year. So
Dave, you'd be surprised at people that be looking at this stuff, and because I've been getting calls and like, how come you didn't mention? I'm like, I didn't know you cared that much. So offline, I'll tell you about some funny stories about that. But so Doug,
we're sending this kite up the ladder to the top. We're gonna say, somebody can wave their magic wand and make this happen and endear themselves to Aggie Nation with just the stroke of a pen or the picking up a phone and making a phone call. So we're gonna let our higher ups make the situation disappear and make it work out. I think it would be a great way.
I hope they're watching. I hope they're listening.
What Deuce is doing is listening. Deuce
did one today. He's been on a world tour. Did you go to any of them, guys?
I'm going to the broke alumni one because he's
no. But this one was for any alumni. It wasn't the broke one. I mean, he went to. I got hilarious.
I got to do a special demographic, the broke alumni, because I got broke people questions that I want to ask. So forget all the the hundreds.
You can ask me whatever you want, bro.
I'm gonna find out.
You need to get in these streets, man.
Hey,
there was close to like 800 at the one I went to.
Oh, that's good.
There was a lot of folks at the alumni one, bro.
That's good.
Yeah, I got to give them credit, man. I think some folks were kind of apprehensive when the pick first happened. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be fine. He's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay. He ain't got nothing to worry about, man. I think if we embrace him, he's gonna kill it.
Let me ask y'all this on that regard. When does he start using that mandate and start telling folks? When does he become the Turk and start saying, senior vice chancellor, I need you to bring your playbook to the office? When does he start doing the bloodletting?
I mean, they ain't gonna do nothing for about a year, man. You got to figure out what the heck what the heck he's looking at. Like he's got to walk into the job, figure out what the landscape is. Then he's gonna probably start. He ain't gonna make no decision for about a year.
But he's gonna bring his own people, right? He's gonna be like, it's been great.
But sometimes that happens naturally anyway. When there's a new boss in town, they tend to make the decision. I'm like, I need to go ahead and pack my stuff and get out of here. Like that typically. When I first became a manager, I lost 5 people the first month. They were like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what he's gonna do. And that's fine. I'll replace you. It's not a problem.
Okay,
cool.
12 to 18 months.
Yeah,
12 to 18 months.
At least a year.
So about this time next year, we'll see some furniture moving for real.
He's got new deans, right? So he's got some new deans. Dr. Teasley just got it. Lester Teasley just got the dean of engineering job right around the same time he started.
Hey, what about more gymnasium? We're not gonna touch that one. All right, Dougie, go ahead and jump in. Tell us about Central, man. What's your outlook for Central, Doug?
I cannot.
I don't have to necessarily give a score. I don't have to give a prediction. I'm picking my Aggies. I can see it unfolding a couple different ways. I can see the Aggies total dominating the Eagles throughout the game. I can see Money Brown with a walk-off. It's kind of been his week. But what hook or crook, blowout, close game, I'm looking for my Aggies to play well, play smart, play with a lot of pride, and to come out with the victory. I think that it is going to be a step back in the right direction for us. I think it's going to be one of those games that, will give us Aggie fans and Aggie Nation something to brag about beyond this week. Samaj, you got the shirt on. You know how great it felt to have that 99-0 2-year run. I think we're on our way back. I think there's no question that our program is ascending, and with the growth of our school, kind of where we're heading, it's just a matter of time before we're just on a whole different level than those birds down the street to begin with. So I'm looking at it. Of course, our ship is doing this, and it's just a matter of when those intersections cross. I hope that it's this Saturday down in Durham. But no, I'm looking for our guys to play well. Look for it to be the Kevin White Jr. show.
All right.
He was recruited by both schools.
Okay.
And I think this is the kind of game that just plays well in his hands. We've seen Kevin go off against Norfolk. We saw him kind of get into his zone. I think he's continuing to get healthy and more comfortable. We know he can run. He's been showing it from the pocket. So I look for this game to be the game where he breaks out with 100+ yards rushing, another rushing score because he had one against Winston, and a good game in the air. I think he does it both ways. And with the addition of Kenji Christian, Aggies win big.
Okay, I love it. I tell you, I love it. Craig, bring us home, man.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that final prediction.
Aggies in overtime by 3.
Oh, my heart can't take that. No.
I got look, man. My blood pressure ain't gonna allow all this, bro.
Oh, man, Craig.
Well, you better take your heart medication because it's gonna be a tight ball game.
Nothing
it's
easy.
Gonna be a real tight ball game.
Nothing easy. We can't get an easy one. We can't get a 54-0, 45-0.
No, it's gonna be new for it's gonna be new for Coach Brown. So I get it. It's gonna be new for Coach Brown, man. It's the first time in Durham for this game, man.
Dave, I'm like you, man. This Walker Harris play, man. I saw Walker Harris get in one play in the Carolina game. He actually got stone cold stunned and the people elbow dropped on him in one play. All right. I'm surprised he got up from that play. I couldn't even pick out the concussion play because it was about 4 plays I thought that he got rocked. So
I will say this.
I don't think he finishes it.
He had a heck of a first drive with them boys, man. I will say that. Like, and that team was doing really well pushing North Carolina at the beginning of that game. That was a one-score game going into the third quarter.
They had 75 yards rushing. They didn't do anything after the first drive. Carolina controlled that game from the first drive on. And as an offensive coordinator, as a competent college football team, you ought to be able to put together some scripted plays to take advantage of what that team does on defense. They ain't going to do nothing but come out and play you in that base and what you expect them to run the first drive anyway. But after halftime, when you make those adjustments, what can you do after halftime, right? And Matt Brown said in his press conference, I mean, and of course, Mac is selling it a little bit too, but yeah, you like to say they hung in there and played with him. And Carolina had 10 penalties in the first half. And I think Central had a ton in the second half, right? So, Carolina played uncharacteristic. Matt Brown even commented how much they were chirping back and forth. So I think those guys got into a little bit of, playing a school from around the corner in a school they thought they should beat up on. But kudos to Central for the first drive. You came out and drove, scored a touchdown. You didn't do much after that. All right. Yeah, the game was close, but I attribute that to Carolina playing their backup quarterbacks because they lost their starter against the first game of the season.
This starter was out, man. Yo, and that starter's out for a long time. They gonna be trash, bro. Their running back's good though. Their running back big time.
And my point, Dave, exactly. If they just would have turned around and handed the ball off, I mean, they were working on things too. They're trying
that's coaching though, right?
Well, no, they're trying to get their quarterbacks ready to play in the ACC too. Like they could have ran the ball every play and won the game.
Yeah, they could have one time.
But they need to work on some things to get those quarterbacks ready. They would rotate the guys in and out. Matt Brown even commented how they're going to do that until they can find a hot hand. That's just kind of how they're playing game by game because they're playing with house money, having lost their starting quarterback. So shout out to Central for playing Carolina tough with a true freshman quarterback and two guys that really didn't impress me passing the football either.
Yeah, them backups were terrible, bro.
Hey, so guys, we got to get out of here. Craig, you got any AEF information that we need to know?
Well, the AF bus is going to be leaving Saturday at 1:00, and we're headed down to Durham. The AF is also
get there early.
I don't know. Yeah, get there early, and that's why we're leaving at 1:00. And there's a AF tailgate down there. If you haven't RSVP'd from the email, then you need to do that. You need to do that before Friday. Yeah, we're gonna head on down there, and that ticket scalping thing that they're doing with the band, they were doing the same thing with us. So it's Central. What can I tell you? It's Central. That that's their MO. That's what they do.
They need the money. I keep trying to explain this to you guys. They need the money.
Where's somebody want to know, Kevin Cosby, where's the AEF tailgate going to be set up? Y'all gonna have a tailgate for Saturday?
Yeah, it's gonna be at the stadium itself. It's gonna be at the stadium.
Okay. And Doug, I'll see you down probably on the sideline. If everything goes well. If I can control myself on Twitter, every day we get closer and closer. Hey Doug, we get closer and closer to losing those credentials every day because I be thinking I gotta pull myself away from the keyboard. Like I don't want to mess it up. I don't care, but I don't want to mess it up for you because I don't think you've been on that sideline as a journalist, as a media person. It's a little different, but yeah, man. So guys, let's get out of here. It's almost been 2 hours. So for Aggie 94, my man Dave, don't change it, man. Stay for the Panthers. We don't need.
I'm not gonna change it, man. Yes, my partner might, but I'm not gonna change it.
Right.
All right, look, man, it's gonna be a long year. Let's just hope it's gonna be a long season.
Yeah.
Well, for 94, Dave, and of course Dougie Fresh and the president Craig Turner. I am Samaj Marsh. It's been a great episode. Shout out to Jalen Fowler. We're gonna see him at homecoming. Make sure that we'll have 2 tickets for him because he's the greatest homecoming win in school history. He's a quarterback for that. I am Samaj Marsh. It's been Inside the Valley. See you on Saturday. Peace.
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride.